All right, cue the obvious song. Have you guys ever heard of a webcomic called House Pets? No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that again. I promise. We're actually going to be talking about the chapter we're here to talk about, which is Made Fresh. And honestly, I've been so checked out of BCB recently that it just kind of feels weird talking about it like this right now. I want to be clear. Made Fresh is probably one of the worst chapters in this entire comic, just structurally, and I don't know. It's just a general sense of, it feels like this chapter is the culmination of everything that is wrong with modern BCB. The inability to pay things off that are set up, the inability to stay focused, the constant dogpiling, the misery, and it's just more bitter than it is sweet right now. And I get that there's some things that are supposed to be sweet, but I just do not care about Paisley. This ship is so boring, but we will get into that. Let's start from the top, right? Because this chapter is about so many fucking things. So many things get set up, and like, I think one thing gets paid off. It's kind of tragic. Well, not even. I would call it tragic if I still cared about this comic, but it's almost tragic how terrible it is. So we start with Paulo and Abby making plans to go hang out on a Sunday, and apparently it has something to do with Molly. And you think to yourself, okay, Made Fresh is going to be a Paulo and Abby and Molly adventure. That sounds okay. That could be something. That sounds like it could be fun. It's new and interesting. And then Mike gets involved, and you think to yourself, okay, well, maybe this Mike thing is a slight detour. It's just a little aside to follow up on stuff that happened in the previous chapter. But once that is done, we're going to skip forward in time to when Abby and Paulo are hanging out. No, because then Daisy gets involved, and it becomes about Paulo and Daisy talking about the Mike situation. Paulo learns that Mike got cheated on, and then he starts putting the pieces together, and then Daisy said something so stupid it might as well be categorized as character assassination. Why is it Sandy's fault? We don't know the reason she cheated. This is a real line. What in the holy mother of truck does that mean? I'm just going to say right here, right now, for those of you who know, you know, but there is no justifiable reason to cheat on your partner. It just does not exist. There can be excuses, or not even excuses. There can be like reasons why someone cheated, but there is no justifiable reason or excuse to cheat on your partner. If you are not happy with the relationship that you're in, you either need to talk to your partner about the issues to see if you can resolve them. And if you can't, then you need to just leave them. Or if you have decided that you don't even want to try to make things work with your partner, then you need to leave them. There is literally no reason on God's green earth to cheat on your partner. And it is insane that this line is coming from Daisy, of all people, especially considering she's the one that Mike opened himself up to about all this. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. And I told myself that I wasn't going to get wound up, that I had been disconnected from this comic. But oh my God, it's so good at rage baiting. This comic is so good at rage baiting me. Like, there are things that are so stupid that I can't help myself but be like, why is this so stupid? Like, how? What is the logic? how, like, I can usually follow logic on things, but like, I literally cannot follow the logic of Daisy of all characters saying this. I could kind of maybe see Paulo saying something like this, but fucking Daisy? And it's still just a stupid thing to say in general. It doesn't make any sense. We don't know why she cheated. She might have had a reason. What? That makes it okay then. Yeah, oh, Sandy cheated on Mike because, oh, well, we weren't near each other and I was hanging out with this other guy named Francis and he was able to talk to him. But that makes it okay to just cheat on Mike? Okay, so at this point you think, all right, I guess this is a Paulo and Daisy adventure and the chapter is going to be about figuring out the Mike and Lucy and Sandy stuff. So I forgot to mention this when I was recording the review initially, but I do want to point out Paulo saying he made a promise to Lucy about always taking her side. First of all, literally nothing about this is true. He never made any promises to Lucy, and he definitely never promised to always take her side, like, ever. Obviously, he's referring to Double Down, and the closest he gets to anything that he's saying is that he said he would stop being Mike's friend if Lucy wanted, which Lucy says to not do. So I'm not really sure why Teshi would put this here. I get the defense is that, oh, well, in his head, Paulo thought it was a promise, but like I said, Lucy doesn't really seem to want him to do that. And also, it had nothing to do with always taking Lucy's side. Like, come on, Teshi. You aren't even trying anymore. No, it's not. Because then it becomes about Paulo and Daisy and Abby stuff. And then you're like, okay, so this is just a general Paulo and Daisy chapter. Even though we have now set up 2 other things that were unrelated. And now we are on this. Okay, sure. And then Jordan shows up. And then it becomes the Jordan, Tiff, Paulo, and Daisy double date. And then the entire middle chunk of this chapter is about that. And we're going to get to that in just a second because there's a few things I do want to point out. But before we get there, we cut forward in time, not to Paulo and Abby hanging out, which was set up at the beginning of this chapter, but to Paulo and Daisy meeting up so Paulo can take her to Burgertron. Paulo says some passive-aggressive thing about going on a date and it not being at the library. Daisy looks pretty upset about this. There's clearly things they still have to work out. It's almost like they are not right for each other because it's already been established. I'm not going to go over all this shit again. If you guys want to know why Paisley does not work as a ship and will not work, then you just need to go watch my other videos on Rain Check and Review Session and even Third Wheel, and that will go over all of that. I'm not going to repeat myself again. Okay, so they show up to Burgertron. Jordan's there. Tiff shows up. They have a pretty awkward double date where Tiff ends up walking away going, okay, well, I guess I'm done eating the new Astro Burger. And then Daisy blurts out, oh, but Jordan loves you. And here's the thing. So the whole point of this Jordan and Tiff thing, because this is actually wrapping up or like paying off, it's concluding the Jordan Tiff will they won't they, where it's so obvious that Tiff was not interested in Jordan. She just used him as a meal ticket, but Jordan kept like pretending that things were fine as long as they were doing stuff together. And it almost comes off as harassment because it's very clear that Tiff is not interested in him in that way, and yet Jordan keeps pushing it. At the same time, Tiff has to know that Jordan's been putting these signs down. Like, it's kind of implied that she does know, and she just doesn't care, yet she keeps taking all this attention and stuff from him, knowing that he sees it in a romantic sense, and she doesn't. So it's kind of this weird situation where Jordan is putting himself in this position to be taken advantage of, and also at the same time, he is kind of semi-harassing Tiff in these situations, trying to push her to get into a relationship that she doesn't want to get into. But Tiff is so disconnected from Jordan that she really just doesn't care, and she kind of just focuses on her phone. That stuff gets wrapped up. And then Teshi has the audacity to go on and say, oh, well, that wasn't meant to be taken seriously. That was just a gaffe. When in reality, that's like most of the chapter is this thing getting wrapped up. And it actually makes a pretty decent point about like toxic dynamics, about people that allow themselves to get taken advantage of by people that don't care simply because they have feelings for them. I played the song Self-Esteem by The Offspring because a line that Jordan says is very close to one of the lines in the song, which is, "But if I show her I'm persistent," which kind of mirrors the line in the song that goes, "The more you suffer, the more it shows you really care." And it is an interesting like situation and thing to tie up and thing to talk about. It's just frustrating that Teshi would go on to be like, yeah, don't take it seriously. I mean, it's just a gag. It's like you're bringing up like actual serious real world issues, things that people go through all the time, and you're playing it off as a fucking joke. Like, are you fucking kidding? Y'all are seeing why I'm so burnt out and just beyond frustrated dealing with this comic, right? Because it is just completely inconsistent in a way that makes it unreadable and just not able to take it seriously. But it gets even worse because Paulo brings up Roxy. Well, Roxy liked you, so why didn't you go out with her? And then Jordan says, because I didn't like her like that. Teshi, you do read the webcomic of Bittersweet Candy Bowl, right? Like, you read the comic that you make. Like, I wouldn't blame you for not reading your own comic. It's fucking terrible. It's absolute dog shit. But, like, you're making the comic. You have to remember the things that you set up before, because this directly contradicts two canonical events in BCB, one of which is actually in the base comic, and the next one, which is a book exclusive chapter, which are still canon, by the way, where it is clear that Jordan does like Roxy. Okay, I quickly need to pause this and say, yeah, I am aware of this interaction in Fair Game, but like, this just feels like such a cop-out. And also, he doesn't technically say that he wasn't interested in her like that. He kind of just says, oh, well, me and Tiff have this connection, you know. Come on, it could have literally still happened. This is such a cop-out, man. So in the actual comic that's on the website, you don't need the volume 4 book 4, which, to be fair, you do need the volume 4 book to read this chapter. I think it's actually in volume 5. So I actually got my volume 5 book out for this. But in the prom chapter, Jordan goes to dance with Roxy, and afterwards he says she might even be the one, and then Paulo shuts it down. Jordan, and I get the idea is that Jordan is an idiot and he's just like so wishy-washy, hormonal teenage type things, but he does clearly have interest in her. And not only that, in the book exclusive chapter, which I'm going to show you right here, I'm going to get up real close to the camera, so hold up, give me a second. So if you can see right here, chat, it's clear that Jordan is interested in Roxy, because Roxy goes up and says like, oh, I had a good time. She's clearly nervous. She walks away and Jordan smiles and he goes, yeah. What do you mean he wasn't interested in her like that? It's in the book that you wrote and you sold on the internet. You just forgot? Was this supposed to also not be taken seriously? So what things in BCB are meant to be serious and what things are not? Oh, you just have to guess. Oh, it's CinemaSins rules. Oh, it's super serious unless it's not. And then it's a joke, except it isn't fucking funny and it doesn't make sense. So wonderful. Great. So another plot hole, which Teshi has been increasingly writing into her comic recently. And let's move on from that, because now you're looking at the page count going, well, now that we've wrapped this up, okay, so what's going to happen next? So Paulo lets slip to Jordan that Matt is like in love with him. Then Jordan wants to be gay because everyone has to be fucking gay in modern BCB. And then him and Daisy drop him off at his house. Wait, did they pick him up? Wait, how did Jordan get the Burgertron? Did he walk? Did Paulo and Daisy pick him up? I'm just realizing this. How the fuck did Jordan get the Burgertron? Because it kind of implies that Paulo and Daisy drop him off at the house, but if he took his own car, why would they follow him home? And if they did pick him up, why didn't they show that? Did he walk the Burgertron and then Paulo and Daisy agreed to take him home? Like, I'm going to look at the comic right now just to be sure, okay? I'm going to recheck it right now here, live on this video. It's not live, technically, but you know what I mean. Let's see. No, it doesn't seem as though they took Jordan. So, what? Did Jordan get a ride with Tiff? I don't understand. What is happening? Teshi, oh my god. She has completely just stopped giving a fuck. This chapter sucks. Okay, so they drop Jordan off, and then it goes back to Paulo and Daisy. Okay, we're still kind of following the theme of Paulo and Daisy, even though we set up things with Abby, and then we set up things with Mike, and then we set up things with them talking about Mike, and then they set up things with Abby, and then they set up things with Jordan, and then Tiff, and now we're back to Paulo and Daisy, and then Daisy keeps pushing for more stuff because Paulo's brought her home and she wants a kiss, and then Paulo gets a little bit weird about it, and he's like, look, I just want to take things slow because I wanted things to be like when they were with Jasmine. And then I was like, well, why the fuck did you break up with Jasmine, you stupid idiot, if that's the kind of relationship you wanted? I get because Lucy reasons, but like also at the same time, him and Lucy had known each other for a good long while before they even started kind of like, you know, getting close. So it's not like that relationship was super fast. I mean, the feelings went quickly for both of them, but it's not like they jumped into a relationship for, you know, all the reasons that, you know, were shown in the comic before. So Daisy agrees to take it slow on Paulo's terms. Paulo kind of implies that he's like, babe, I'm trying not to like rip them clothes off you right now and take you to Pound Town in the back of my car. He doesn't say that, but he says that he's thirsting for whatever reason. Okay, sure, whatever. And then you look at the page count and see that there's a bunch more pages left. Well, where is there to go? Back to Jordan. That's right. You see, all the stuff that we set up is actually now about the Jordan hour. So Jordan comes home and he talks about how Tiff and him aren't a thing. And then it becomes about college acceptance letters. Oh, actually, they're for Augustus. And now it's the Augustus show. And now it's about Augustus and the freaking college papers. And then it becomes about Augustus and him not picking up his phone that is buzzing because Alejandro was calling him. And then it becomes Lucy gets upset and then does the Arthur clench fist hand meme thing while holding a plate of brownie. And by the way, Lucy, if you're not going to give that to Augustus, I'll take it, because I really could use a brownie with the vanilla icing on it right about now. Yeah, okay, wow. So anyway, that's the chapter, I guess. A complete clusterfuck and unfocused and plot holes and doesn't make any fucking sense and all over the place, and it is indicative of everything that is wrong with BCB. The stuff that was actually good, Teshi was like, yeah, don't take that seriously, it doesn't matter. Great. Fucking fantastic. Okay, yeah, made fresh. I fucking didn't care, don't care about this comic. This is probably going to be the last chapter review for BCB for quite some time. I know they're supposed to be starting with a new art style coming up. As of recording this video, I haven't seen it yet, but tomorrow I guess I will have seen it. There it is. Made Fresh was bad. It just sucked. If you're still a fan of this comic, more power to you, I guess, but I just cannot stand it anymore, especially after reading much better things like House Pets or Ventura City Drifters or Sabrina Online, or literally fucking watching paint dry, because at least the wall looks nice and you can get high off of the fumes. How many people have gotten high off of BCB? Probably none of them. I might even take down all those BCB pictures off my wall. Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time for hopefully not another crash out.